Yo, YouTube, this is the first episode of Founder Files 2026 edition. This was meant to be a weekly series in 2025, but life literally took over. These videos are visual diary entries. They're a way for me to reflect and grow as the year progresses, and I sit down and I talk about the challenges, the wins, the lessons, and anything that's top of mind for me as I navigate life and business in my 20s. So to kick this one off, if you're wondering where I've been, Adelaide, Brisbane, Sydney, Bali 4 times, Thailand twice, Bangkok with Ellis, and then Khao Lak with my family. And I also found myself on a business trip to Japan the day before my 24th birthday. Yeah, I can imagine a lot of you are saying, so what, you traveled a bit last year, that's no reason to fall off YouTube. And you would be right. However, 2025 also included easily the greatest, most fulfilling personal pursuit of my life. In February, I met a girl named Emily, and in May, I asked her to be my girlfriend. And then in October, I proposed to her, and that same month, we shared vows and said I do in front of all the people that mean the most to us. Now, whilst I've done my best to give you some context on where I've been the last 6 months to a year, I'm gonna digress because one day I will dedicate an entire video to the love story that is ours and easily my favorite. Anyway, here we are now. It's January 7th, 2026. So to get the ball rolling, let's talk about the win, the challenges, and the lessons to catch you guys up on where we are today. The win of 2025, I've already touched on that, but I'll say it again. I met and married the woman of my dreams in the same year. Easily the happiest day of my life, without a doubt, my greatest achievement. And I genuinely believe that I am the man I am because of the woman Emily is. She has become the quiet thought behind all of my decisions. She is genuinely a breath of fresh air on the toughest of days. And she is the reason that I choose growth over comfort every single day. I can talk about Emily forever, but I'm not going to do that today. But maybe, just maybe, I'll get her to make her debut on this YouTube channel at some point in a video throughout the year. All right, next up, we've got the challenge of 2025. The challenge for 2025 was driving aimlessly towards an undefined career goal. At the start of the year, last year, I sat down with a mentor of mine, Nav, and we discussed the goal setting strategy that he uses and he's been using majority of his life. And together we did some work on my goals for 2025. It was great. I was excited. I felt super optimistic and positive about everything I planned to do. Although there was a few errors that I made whilst writing these goals, and I want to highlight these for myself and for anyone else to learn from. So the 2 biggest mistakes that I made were, 1, my goals were way too broad. I was not as specific as I needed to be, and honestly, I probably set too many goals. It just felt overwhelming, and whilst I achieved a handful of the ones that were on my list, there were bigger career goals specifically that I would have liked to achieve, and I didn't. And recently I listened to Grace Beverly, and she was talking about how she's mapping out her 2026 goals and what she's doing. And one of the things that she said is, if you're too broad with your goals, the goalposts are going to move and you will not reach your goals. You have to be able to tick off the goal. Do not write anything that isn't measurable. So many goals are just wishes without a plan. And honestly, that was the case for a lot of my career goals in 2025. And that is okay. I could sit here and beat myself up about it, but I'm not going to do that because it doesn't help anything. Instead, I am just going to take gratitude in the fact that I'm more self-aware now and I'm actively applying the things that I've learned to my goals for the year ahead. So that was the first mistake I made. My goals were too broad. Please don't make that mistake. Be specific, set smart goals. The second mistake that I made when I was working towards my goals was a combination of misdirection and lack of consistency. If there's anything I encourage you to take away and learn from this video, it's the following. You have to check in on your goals every single month religiously. Make it a ritual. Schedule a meeting in with yourself, same time, every single month. No distractions. It has to happen. I made the mistake last year of setting and forgetting goals. I had the intention of checking in, but I didn't set those meetings with myself. I didn't put it in my calendar to check in on my goals. And as a result, I didn't achieve a lot of my career goals, like I said. If you schedule in check-ins every single month to see where you're at with your goals, you can't and you won't forget the big picture. When you're doing this, it gives you the opportunity to reset, refocus, and redirect your attention to the right areas. So that is mistake number 2 that I made. Please, like I said, if you take anything away from this video, let it be that. Set in regular monthly meetings where you check in on your goals and you track your progress. Okay, moving on to the lesson of 2025. And this one came to me last week, and it's one of the many reasons that I am so incredibly lucky to have Emily in my life. I was having a hard time last week with some back-end business tasks, and I'd been avoiding some things for a while. They were only getting heavier. I kept saying, I'll get to them later. When the time's right, tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. I didn't do them. I told Emily how I was feeling about this stuff, and she said to me, the more you confront the difficult things, the less confronting they become. And I honestly think that speaks for itself. The more you confront the difficult things, the less confronting they become. That was the best lesson I learned in 2025, and the lesson I will be taking ahead with me throughout all of 2026. To finish the video, here is a recurring thought that I had throughout all of 2025. And this is actually an extract from episode 6 that I filmed and never quite released. It never made it out into the world, but the thought that I had still holds weight for me, so I thought I'd share it with you also. The outer world alone cannot give you what you desire unless your internal world matches that outcome. The universe operates on frequency alignment, not circumstance. You have to be the right person, and I think that's the thing that so many people don't realize. If you are trying to get to a certain desired outcome, you need to be the right person to reach that certain desired outcome. And I think that's something that is so easily overlooked, being the right person to reach that outcome. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. The right person isn't defined by arbitrary standards of success. It's the version of you who is already capable of sustaining the reality or the outcome that you're seeking. If you desire a certain way of living and you don't have it yet, like myself, then the current version of you and I isn't capable of holding that life yet. Otherwise, you and I, we'd already have it. This is the universal law of reflection. Our external realities always correct themselves to match our inner state. If you're not the right person, your outer world will literally push you back into the same loops, setbacks, and delays. It's just the universe saying, you're not ready to hold this timeline yet. Look inward, do the inner work. And every time you fall back into old patterns, external validation, distraction, weak self-concept, then your world is going to throw you back to square one. If, like me, you experience resistance in some way, shape, or form, then chances are you're still catching up to the person you are in the quantum field. And since this is a visual diary entry, after all, I think my advice to myself would be a quote from Epictetus. He says, first, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Once we take ownership and say, I decide who I am, then we proceed to act as that person. There is no internal debate. The decision has already been made at the level of identity. We identify as the person that we are becoming already before it's even happened. Then, as a product of that, we do what needs to be done, regardless of anything external. And, I've been reflecting on who I am currently and the things that I did last year and how much progress I made in all of these inner conversations that we have with ourselves at this time of the year. I just realized that to be the person that we want to become, we have to envision and act as that person as if we are already them. It goes without saying. And that's a thought for me that's been relevant, like I said, throughout all of 2025. So hopefully it resonates with someone here also. That is all from me. I hope you gained some value, maybe some insights from this visual diary entry, and I'll see you next week.